I can lift my arms a little bit. So basically, this thing's not really on a great stable ground. That comes back a little too far. Let's try this. I was trying to get this just right. Lighting's not the best in here, but it's okay. So I got my surgical bra on. I didn't know if they were going to give me one. This is what they put me in. And there's padding underneath, as you can tell. I'll tell you what the most tender part is underneath the armpits in the lymph area. I'm sure it's because of my breast tissue as being tender from all the moving around and having to excavate the capsule and the breast implant. I won't know until the 7th of April on my follow-up appointment about the details, but the nurse did tell me. I was in the operating room from 7:30 to 10:30. I did see the clock like coming out of it like around 10:40 or something like that. And then I closed my eyes and it was 11:30. And then I think I closed my eyes again and she's like, it's time to discharge you. And that's when I started to stand up and go to the bathroom and I'm like, ooh, I feel like I'm going to vomit. So they had to give me the anti-nausea medication. My throat is a little sore because they did put a breathing tube down my throat. It's not that bad though. I'm impressed. Yeah, from down the rabbit hole. Hey, Anthony. So ultimately, yeah, it wasn't sore the other day, but it's starting to get a little sore again. I've been taking magnesium, drinking lots of clean, fresh juices because I had stocked up on those from Escape Route. If you're in the Clearwater, Dunedin area, go to Escape Route. They make the most beautiful juices with love. My girlfriend Dee is taking care of me. Sometimes it feels hard to breathe. It's not as bad as I thought it was going to be pain-wise, but there's still pain. But it could also be partially numbed out because sometimes what happens, and I can attest to this, where when you've been under the knife, the incision points can be numb and then maybe end up having pain later. But anyway, so ultimately I have tenderness, really tender on my lymph areas and my armpits. I'm not really swollen. My hands, they must have put my arms in really weird positions. And my right shoulder is the shoulder that I have problems with to begin with. That if you've listened to my other videos, I was sharing how I really feel like the implants were part of the problem I've had with my right shoulder. And I mean it in the way that, like, when I was younger, I used to sleep with my hands across my chest. But since over the years, my arms, my entire arms, the circulation gets cut off. So something in here was pinching in my circulation. And when I first woke up, I was like, oh my gosh, my right arm, what the heck did they do? They must have had my elbow bent because the whole inner crease of my elbow, I can't lift that too high, all up in here was like super tender. Like, you know, when you have your elbow bent for a long time and then it gets really, really sore. So I don't know what all they did with my arms, but and then I'm trying to also try to adjust for my back because I do not like lying on my back for long periods of time. And my lower, you know, your coccyx can go numb, and I don't necessarily want to end up with bed sores or anything. I have drain tubes in. That's what these things are. So they said that these have to be in for 2 weeks. Yeah, that's blood, and that's coming out. And it's basically because, you know, you don't want infection. So with all the things that they have to pump you up with, your body needs to detoxify, which is why I'm doing the juices to cleanse. I'm not taking any pain medication. I have fresh lemon, ginger, and cayenne shots. I also have turmeric shots. These are all part of the juices that I got. I have magnesium. I have some phytoplankton because seaweed is a good way to pull out toxins as well. I'm not drinking a whole lot of water. I'm more on the juices so that my body gets the proper nutrients. fast cleanse. Just keep it simple. The less you put in your body, the more it can focus on healing. If we give our bodies a rest, the body can do a better job of healing. So fasting is really not appreciated as much, because when you have food in your belly, your body has to kind of divide the resources to consume and separate and assimilate and integrate all those nutrients, so that when your body needs to heal another area of the body, it's like, well, I got to digest, but I'm also over here trying to heal too. And if anybody's been following me long enough, I mean, I've been on a healing journey for a very long time. I found out I was allergic to gluten back in 2010 after I had the mercury taken out of my mouth. And that really kind of reinforced my journey, because I had already done the research on canola oil, which, if anybody out there is still consuming it, I highly recommend you eliminate it from your diet. Eliminate soy. You know, if you're going to do dairy, make sure you're getting it from the farm. Don't be buying this pasteurized bullshit in the stores, because they break it down. It's not even got any nutrients in it. I think that anything that gets pasteurized ends up losing its whole spectrum of nutrients. I'm not going to tell you not to eat meat. I'm going to tell you to grass feed or source it from a local farmer. But what's going on in the world right now? It's time for you to take back your health. It's time for you to know your farmers. Go to source. You know, grocery stores, they deliver you products. The majority of what's in the grocery stores are processed foods. Anytime your food has to go through any type of process, it's processed. And that's everything from cutting it to, it's just the depth of which it gets processed. So continuing with my story. I started cleaning up my diet years ago. I didn't like the taste of soy milk. My stomach would bloat when I used tofu. I could make a great tasting chili, but it wasn't worth the after effects. And I remember going, you know what? I'm good. I tried the soy thing. It's not for me. It's a bunch of junk. Because the only thing you're eating it for is the flavors you add to it. That's not giving you nutrients. That's not really healthy. Yeah, when I decided to go whole food plant-based, it was mostly because I was really trying to trace my food back to the point of origin. And it really made a lot of sense to eat the most natural food. Now, there are things that I don't eat like I used to, because I've learned over the years that certain foods my body doesn't like. But see, this surgery, removing the implants, one of the things I've heard is that a lot of people's digestion clears up too. Now, I always had a problem with wheat and gluten over the course of my life. So I'm not trying to go back to wheat or gluten. I think that that's actually like the worst anti-nutrient food that anybody could be eating, personally. Between the grain brain and the wheat belly and all the other issues that it causes autoimmune-wise, the inflammation, I found that I used to have body acne back in the day, and I guarantee it was either the gluten or the dairy, because your body doesn't necessarily digest dairy like your duodenum can't digest the dairy after the age of 6 or 7. So really, whether it's the dairy from your mother or a cow, it was really meant to grow a cow into a bigger cow, you know, a calf to a cow. Same thing with us. And in some cases, some women, they do breastfeed for years, not just, you know, months. So, but on my journey, I've just learned to intuit what works and what doesn't. And that's everyone's journey. Like, I can't tell you what you shouldn't eat. I can tell you what I found out about the lies and the toxins out there. Canadian oil, canola oil, it is a GMO from the rapeseed plant. Now, if you really do your research, which I ended up down that rabbit hole, I found the sources of where they were using in Europe. There were people dying. There were companies, olive oil companies, that were cutting their olive oil with canola, with the rapeseed oil, and people were dying, kids and adults. There was an actual epidemic. You don't hear about it because you got to find it. And that's how I ended up on that rabbit hole. I was just looking to find out, what is this canola oil? And I'm like, rapeseed. And rapeseed is a degreasing agent. And a lot of Germans use it in their food. Just because they use it doesn't mean it's healthy. You know, we really shouldn't even be consuming oils technically. And the reason I say that is because when you put oil in your body, it means it's been processed. It's concentration of whatever it was, let's say the olive oil, because everybody thinks the olive oil is the best. You take the olive oil, and it's like, how many olives does it take for just 1 teaspoon? Consider that. And then it coats the internal lining of your stomach. So then how is the food supposed to be absorbed by your gut? Because your gut is your second brain. So when you coat your stomach with oil, I'm going to say, if you have a little bit, it's not going to kill you, but just notice, you know, like I was talking with my girlfriend about how the more I've had certain foods, the more I realize it's time to let them go, because I get like a gloss of film over my eyes, and it doesn't help with my digestion. It makes me feel groggy, and it's a journey. It's a journey in trusting your body's wisdom. It's a journey in recognizing the signs and listening and not trying to deny them just because I don't want to give up my comfort food. I don't want to give up my favorite tastes and flavors and such. You know, like, that's because they got us addicted to so much of this processed food. And it's easy, but it's cheap. And when it's cheap, it makes you easy. Just think about it. But you know, what really led me to this journey of removing my implants is last year I'd had a car accident, and I just noticed on my left breast I had a rippling, and it was kind of puckered, and I was like, I don't know what that is. And then my right breast was also kind of giving me a tinge of pain. And when I went to the doctor and I had the referral for the surgeon, because initially I was going to try to do it outside of the VA because I didn't know it was available in the VA system. But fortunately, I was able to go through the VA, and I really trusted my surgeon. Like, I really felt confident with him. I honestly got a drop in the other night and felt like, you know what, this is an angel coming in to help me through this process. So, and at first I didn't even ask the questions because I wasn't thinking. And I've been in the breast implant illness groups for years until my last Facebook account my original Facebook account got disabled and just deleted. And I wanted to retrace back because there have been many years, many women I've been following. Erin Elizabeth is one of them who had her explant years ago, and some other women as well. And they all said be really attentive to just know who the surgeon is and do your research. So what it came down to is I requested a total capsulectomy. It's an end block, so that they remove the entire capsule. I said, listen, I don't want to take any chances, even if it's not ruptured. I'd rather it taken out as much as possible intact. When the surgeon came in to put the line down and mark me up before surgery, I just reinforced and clarified the things that I had upon my request. When he was checking, he said, your capsules might be kind of thin, so I'm going to do the best I can to remove the capsules as much as possible intact. See, the thing is, these particular implants have been in about 14 years now. No, 13. No, 14? Really? Wait a minute. We're in 2022. So it's been 13 years I've had these in, because I had them replaced in 2009. I've been adding a year on. Oh, well. I wasn't all there. So the previous ones I had in were in for 10 years. And so this is 23 years of my life. So yeah, that's right, 23 years. I think I accidentally put 14 in something I sent to a friend. So ultimately, no, that's right, I did say 13. I got it right. I know what I'm talking about. My left knee is killing me right now. Oof. So he checked, and he said, I'm going to do the best I can to try to get it out intact. The other thing I asked and reinsured with him was about the pathology report. I requested that he submit for, I wonder what this does. Oh, look at that. Beam. I can change this. Ooh, that's nice. I can play with stuff. I didn't even know you could play with this. That's okay. We're good with this. So, so funny. I'm just goofy. A little bored. Not really. So as far as the pathology report, as I squirreled, I said, listen, I'd really like to have a full comprehensive pathology report testing for mold, fungi, bacteria, any type of breast cancer, et cetera, et cetera. And he did say that the breast cancer related to these has been minimal. There haven't been that many that come back. But when the nurse told me that that it turned out that I did have a ruptured implant, I suspect he might add that to the list. Because originally when we were talking, he said he thought it might just be a rupture, and it wouldn't know until he went in to actually remove the implant. So I'm very, very grateful and very blessed that the timing was the right time. I hope to find out if maybe he can tell me if it was evident or clear how long it had been ruptured. I'm not sure if that's possible to tell or how big the rupture was. I think that the implants that I had, they were silicone first off. And I don't know if they were gel type, like if they would have oozed out and gotten elsewhere. But because the capsule, your body's amazing and it creates that barrier, I like to think that it was contained, even though it doesn't mean it wasn't leached into my system. Because that's the part people don't take into consideration. That when you put a foreign body in your body will try to protect you from it and try to find a way to get it out of you. So by sucking it, whatever you want to think in those terms, your body is trying to find ways to get it out. And that can be just as much as, like, let's say eating it or absorbing it, because that's what the lymph system is all about extracting those toxins out, and then you pump it out through the sweat glands and other ways through urine and such. So, I mean, that's part of my interpretation and all of that. Whew. Yeah, just tender under the armpits and the lymph areas, really, more than anything else. Whew. And it doesn't feel as bad underneath, even though that's where the scars, they did the incisions underneath. When I did ask him how much he was going to be cutting, he pretty much was going to try to use the original incisions. And as I already showed, I have drain tubes. So I've been emptying them. They're not so bad. Yeah, it's definitely not as painful as I thought it would be. My biggest concern was like just any type of extreme pain, but it's more like just the tenderness of the pressure, because the trauma of the actual breast from removing that is traumatic. You know, you going in there, separating from the muscle. And then he also, that was the other thing I spoke to him about. When I asked about the pectoral muscle repair, he said that he would be suturing down the pectoral muscle with disposable sutures as best he could. And he even said, and a lot of women, I said, well then, you know, I said, you're the artist and I'm in your hands. He said, and a lot of women say they have more cleavage than before they have the repair. So that was nice to hear. I was like, okay. But like I said, I felt pretty confident with the surgeon, and I'm grateful that he, you know, when I asked about the pathology report, he was like, you know, normally we don't put that in, but since you requested it, I will put that in for you. So anytime I made a request, he had no problem fulfilling and saying he would go through it. And that made me feel so much better, that it wasn't just, we're just getting you in there and just going to slice and dice and get you out. I mean, 3 hours in there, and it was him and another female plastic surgeon. And when he first came in, he said, just letting you know, you're getting the professionals today. I don't have any people that are coming in that are students that are going to be doing anything. It's just me and this other doctor who's another top plastic surgeon at the VA. So I was in really good hands. Now it's the healing that I'm going through. And yeah, and if you saw my Instagram post, I was just talking about how in every single one of us, there is something that needs to be healed. And in order to be whole, we have to bring back all of the parts of ourselves that were fragmented. We have to make peace, sometimes getting rid of foreign pieces within us, and come back to our wholeness. And that's going to heal the world, because it is a collective collaboration. That what you do for yourself, it ripples out. When you heal yourself, you end the legacies of your family lineage. you don't know how much that helps the rest of us. We're all so deeply connected. There is no separation. Energy is constantly in motion, and we need to honor what arises within us, because that's all part of the healing. Life is one hell of a journey, but I have learned one thing. It's a lesson in life, a lesson in love. Life is a lesson in love. And I got that download loud and clear Saturday night, because every night I've been going to sleep just blessing and being grateful and loving on my body, sending oodles of love to each cell of my body, grateful for its quick and powerful healing ability, because I know, on the one hand, 23 years of breast implants, I'm going back to my natural body again. I was thinking, what did I look like before? I don't remember. It wasn't that bad. It wasn't like I didn't love my body. I just saw an opportunity to, what I thought, improve upon it, And yes, I go back to, we're all influenced. And I said in my other videos, I got it done for me, but I was influenced. I was influenced by the media, by movies, by fashion. When you go to try clothes on and you feel like you're the one who doesn't fit into the clothes when you need to make the clothes fit you. Yeah, we all have a little insecurity in us, and we just have to secure within ourselves, reinforce the truth of the matter. This is actually aromatherapy. They gave me this because I was getting nauseous. So I'm grateful, because I got a good run, 23 years. It was a nice, fun time. I have a great sense of humor. But for me right now, I'm just like, I let go of a lot of my old life by getting rid of those. And a lot of old trauma and grief that probably was stored in them. And that the fact that they no longer represent the person I am or am being in this world, that my authenticity is truly being in my real whole body and not trying to be more. Yeah, you can get eyebrow tattoos. There's nothing wrong with that. That's like the extent of my tattoos in this life. I absolutely adore tattoos on people. I really do. I think they're gorgeous, and that your body is a living piece of art. But be careful about the chemicals that they use in tattoos too. Like, I was listening to Dave Asprey, and he was talking about getting carbon tattoo, and I thought, see, there you go. Be mindful. Everything you place on your body, in your body, around your body, affects your energy body. So like, your skin is your largest living, breathing organ. I learned that when I was 19, 20 years old. Your skin is your largest living, breathing organ. I can't believe I had to coat myself in propylene glycol. It's petrol-based. And by the way, just for those of you out there that haven't done that research, petrol is not fossil fuel. Petrol does not come from fossils. I went down that rabbit hole too. Petrol is some black goo inside the earth, lubricating the earth. It's not meant to be consumed. We should have free energy. We are the batteries, technically, if you really want to get into it. Again, this is back to the healing. For those of you who have been on this healing journey for a long time, those of you who are healers, I know you know this. We are our own tuning forks. I can't do it right now, but I will be humming myself to healing. Humming and singing and articulating, making frequency to up my vibes, increase my healing ability. And I got some really fun things out on in the periphery that I can't wait to share with you that I'm working on. Healing modalities, sound healing. I've got something special planned. That one's just for me. I'll let you know when it's already happened, okay? So I'm really excited for what's up on the next journey of my life. We'll get through this healing, this tender time. Well, whatever emotions arise. I've been going through the emotions prior to this. I can't imagine there's too much more. A lot of dreams. I think the drugs did that. Yeah, life is beautiful when you let it be. And beauty that hasn't been influenced from the outside. Like, whatever you find beauty in, allow it to be beauty. Don't think that just because it's not beautiful to someone else, it isn't beautiful to you. Yeah. We're all beautiful. And we are someone else's version of beauty. Not all beauty appeals to every single person. And my spiritual name is the 𝒍𝒐𝒗𝒆, the lioness, princess, I say goddess too, that radiates the beauty of love at you like a beam of light in your face you can't deny. It's like, poof. And I believe beauty and love are the same. Beauty is an expression of love. And so I've been in people's fights and people don't necessarily like it when I trigger them, and I apologize, but sometimes spirit uses me. And it's never intentional. I never mean to harm or hurt anyone. I think I said this in one of my last videos. That never shoot the messenger. Never shoot the catalyst. Because if someone triggers a pain or a trauma or some old wound in you, they're actually just serving you so you can heal that. So you can actually confront it and be with it. So you can heal it to the point where you're not being triggered by anybody else. Because every time it comes back up, you're reinforcing and re-experiencing that trauma in your life. You can either be the victor or the victim of it. And it's always a choice. And that, again, I say, is a lesson in love. And true love will confront it in a loving way and go, wow, it's not the person that poked and provoked me. It's me not willing to see the pain that I still hold within, the trauma. I mean, a lot of us have been served up some shit in our lives. We've had to face it. And sometimes it hasn't been all that nice to have someone throw it in our face. You know what I mean? Like, I remember in being in relationships that reminded me of my worth. And in the time I was putting up with bullshit. Why was I putting up with theirs? That wasn't a self-love. But then I was playing the victim to it, acting like they were doing it to me. When in reality, their own lives were their own trauma and pain. So when we can recognize that sometimes we stick around for unresolved issues. Sometimes we want to be healed through the pain instead of recognizing it's all within. It's all within. What you project, what you magnify, what you anticipate, you create. And remember, when the mind gets a little crazy and it's trying to protect you from something, always go back to it doesn't know if it's mental, emotional, or physical pain that's coming towards you. Your mind is meant to protect you from death and harm, from danger or death. And when it boils down to it, it's doing the best it can. And then it's going to compare it to all those times before in your life when you were in harm's way, even if it was mental or emotional or physical. And the moment you notice your mind going a little wacky, a little out of control, creating a story, you can still confront it and recognize whether you get to discern if it is real or imagined. Because that's what life is. A lot of imaginary stuff. Stories concocted up in our heads. And can you believe that's what keeps us small and holds us back in our lives? Other people don't do that to us. We do it. It's all up in here. I've had a few people reach out to me about having to have their implants removed as well. And I'm like, make the appointment. Do your research. Know what you're going in for. Be very attentive to your surgeon and whether they're there to honor your wishes. If you don't feel it in your body that you're confident with the doctor, go find another one. But ultimately, it is worth the removal. You're just going to go under anesthesia. You're going to wake up on the other side. It's not like you're awake for the procedure. There's nothing to fear. I mean, even I was like, that's the only thing that happens in the mind, is the mind's like, oh, wait a minute. They're going to cut me. Yeah, but you're not going to feel it. You're going to be out. So everybody was so kind and so wonderful at the James Haley Hospital in Tampa. I'm very blessed, very grateful. Choices I made to where I'm at, because life is a series of choices. And as long as you can get out of your own BS, your belief systems, it doesn't stick around like a lot of BS. But we always have to confront that shit, don't we? But yeah, there's no such thing as mistakes, just choices. And we're all doing the best we can with what we know. So this is my update. I'm drinking lots of juices. Thirsty. Tender armpits, tender. I'm very blessed. I'm very grateful that my girlfriend's watching me. And if I need to stay here a little longer, I hope she won't mind. Because they said 2 weeks with these things. I'm hoping on the 7th of April, when I go for my follow-up appointment, that they say, oh, you're healing so quickly, we could take these out now. That's my prayer. The other thing is, the doctor did say 6 weeks for complete recovery. I don't even think it was complete recovery. I think he said 6 weeks, don't do anything. That's a long time for me. Just saying. I'm so goofy. I'm not even going to apologize. I just am where I am right now. And I'm content. I'm very grateful. I'm very blessed. If this pain is not nearly what I thought it was going to be, whew, so much better to know that I made the right choice. And I'm still loving my body, because when it boils down to it, now I am completely wholly who I was when I started this life. And I'm healing. Life's just amazing. My body's amazing. So thank you for joining and listening, and I will keep you updated through this wonderful time. Let me know in the comments. Make sure to subscribe, hit the notification bell to get more updates from me. Write a comment in the comments section. Let me know how you're doing, if anything I said stuck out, if you were considering an explant. Truly, I think people are waking up to the fact that the pharmaceutical industry is really about making money. When it boils down to it, they want repeat customers. And you're always going to have a problem if you put something in your body. You're always going to have to go back to have it checked or replaced or. And once you get on certain drugs, you're dependent. And so that's what they want, dependency. I really believe in the power of the body to heal. I've always known it to be very powerful. I've always trusted in my body. And I'm really excited for, what clears up after this. Hey, maybe my digestion clears up. This shoulder, yeah, maybe I'll be able to do backflips now. Because a lot of it is really, like I was saying earlier, my arms. When I sleep at night, I always have to sleep with my arms out at my sides, extended, because my arms go to sleep. And it gets pinched up in my armpit area. And I now that I'm feeling this, I'm like, yeah, I'm guaranteeing it was related to the implants. Something didn't go right in one of my surgeries or something. And probably somewhere with the implant creating an obstruction, maybe. You never know. So, have sweet dreams. Lots of love. Thank you for following. Thank you for sending me lots of love and blessings and prayers. I really appreciate it. And I'll take as many as you want to send to me, because I am open to receive love and light my way. I love you.